Hello there and welcome to Red Gaming Tech and another gaming news video with myself, Amata. Today is the 30th of April and I have some rather interesting news for you today concerning a game for the next-gen Xbox, which is going to be coming from Respawn Entertainment, who you may know as the developer founded by the former bosses of Call of Duty studio Infinity Ward. And as I mentioned just a second ago, it will be coming out on the next-gen Xbox, but it will also be an exclusive for that console as well. This is all according to Kotaku, who cites two unrelated sources familiar with the game as claiming that Respawn's publisher EA has struck a deal with Microsoft for the exclusivity of the game. This does back up a previous report done by CVG earlier on in the year in February, for which we were tipped off of a major deal between EA and Microsoft to be announced at the next-gen Xbox Real event, which was recently confirmed to be on May 21. One of CVG's sources did suggest that Respawn Entertainment will make a surprise appearance at the event, and if this information is true, then obviously that surprise has been a little bit spoilt. Kotaku does say that Respawn's yet-to-be-revealed game is a futuristic multiplayer-centric online shooter which is described as a battle of Davids and Goliaths, and crucially, will actually be an always-online title. So, from the sounds of it, there's not really going to be any single player to speak of. It seems to me as if this game is going to be completely multiplayer focused, as it says, this is multiplayer centric, and the fact that it's always online does suggest heavily that we're not going to be seeing any form of single player campaign for this particular game. Obviously this is all rumours and speculation at this point, as this won't be confirmed for a couple of days, I believe, or at least until the May 21st Xbox conference, but I doubt it will be that long. I'm sure it's going to be confirmed before too long. But let's just speculate on this for a moment. Let's say that it is always online, multiplayer-centric. It seems pretty obvious to me that they're going to be going for a completely multiplayer-focused game, which is something that I actually kind of approve of, because I think everyone who's into Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatever your modern military shooter of choice happens to be, that the single player, while enjoyable, isn't the main focus for most people. Obviously, of course, some people care only about the single player. I'm usually one of them. I don't play much multiplayer other than, say, StarCraft 2. So I'm definitely one of those, but most people for these types of games care a lot more about the multiplayer, because that's where the true replayability is for most of these kind of games. So it makes sense to save money on making an expensive single player campaign and pouring more money into the multiplayer, which is what a lot of people want to see from these types of games. So if this is true, I think this is a very good decision on Respawn's part. But I have some more information here about the game, which says the Davids are heavily armed foot soldiers. The Goliaths are the giant exoskeleton titans that these soldiers can pilot. The titans are big mech-style walkers that can move with an agility not seen in games like MechWarrior or Steel Battalions. To keep the action balanced, game maps limit the number of titans that can use in a skirmish. Weapon loadouts for the foot soldiers are designed to ensure that the characters on foot can take out the titans if need be. It also claims that the game is also in development for the current gen Xbox 360, but due to the EA/Microsoft deal, will not be coming out on any Sony or Nintendo platforms. But unfortunately, Microsoft, as usual, has declined to make any comments, saying that they do not comment at all on rumours and speculation, which is pretty much in line with their responses to previous rumours. Respawn did actually file a recent application for the game trademark Titan, possibly indicating that that is the name of its debut game, and that would make sense given the mech-style warriors that apparently will be quite a focus in the game. Obviously, with not a huge amount of detail here about the gameplay, but it does sound interesting nonetheless. Now, what's interesting is that Kotaku also says that the new Respawn game is made on a modified version of Valve's Source engines, not on internal EA technology. The source that's given them this information believes the game looks very good on the Xbox 720, but not as good as EA's internally made Battlefield 4. And as previously mentioned, there was a rumour that they'll be releasing this on the 360, and this source does back this up as well by saying that Respawn is only working on the Durango version and is hand-picking a studio to make the 360 version, so they're going to be completely focused on the next-gen super shiny version, whereas an external studio will be bringing the version to the 360. And as well, apparently the game's multiplayer will operate on a grand scale, with players picking between two quote-unquote massive factions, with all of their experience in the game counting towards the progress of their faction, but there's no mention of any character progression that we've seen in previous Call of Duty games. And the multiplayer will apparently support 16 players, but Respawn would add AI-controlled characters to make the action more frantic, to give novice players a greater chance to score some kills, which is an interesting take on the idea of balance. I'm sure you will agree. I would like to see this game in action. Unfortunately, this is all rumours at this point, so there's not even any screenshots, let alone gameplay footage, but from the information I've got here, this sounds quite promising indeed, and hopefully it'll bring some spice to the FPS genre, because BioShock Infinite have brought that in spades, but we need a game to come along and continue that momentum before the FPS continues in its stodgy modern military shooter ways that, to be honest with you, put me to sleep. Obviously, that's my personal opinion, but it'd be nice to see some creativity and flair coming once again to the FPS genre. Anyway, that's me done for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it enjoyable. Please do check out our channel at our website over at redgamingtech.com for more gaming goodness, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.